So today we are going to talk about the 4 mistakes to avoid in your daily recruitment activities. And this is all focused on IT candidates, right? Because I'm also a technical person. I'm a technical recruiter and IT, talent hunter. So we are going to focus on IT recruitment, IT positions, IT roles. All right. Before we dive a little deeper, a quick introduction. I'm Michael. I have been in IT for over 15 years. First, I started as a software developer. So for 10 years, I was working as an IT consultant, software developer, and a web developer. And then I was joining a team in Thailand. I lived for 5 years in Bangkok, where I have co-founded a travel tech startup, and for 5 years I've been a CTO. So now you can see that I've been really closely interacting with IT candidates, with IT professionals, right? I was hiring and firing some of them, so it's been great fun. And after I started creating courses, you can see that over 20,000 students enrolled in my online courses. I have also co-founded Geek Recruiters, which is a company based here in Europe that focuses not just on recruitment but also on training. Because when I was the CTO, I realized there is this clash, which I'll tell you a little more about just in a second. So I recruited, and the first IT professional 9 years ago. It was in one of my companies that I co-founded in Czech Republic, and I was looking for a technical partner. So he was the very first person I recruited and hired, and so many more as the CTO in Thailand when the company was growing really, really quickly. And while I was the CTO, this is the environment I literally thrived in, because so many developers joined our office in Thailand, in Bangkok. They went for a hackathon, but I saw it as an opportunity to talk to some of them, if not all of them, to recruit them, to not all of them obviously, but at least some of them to join our IT team. And that's the environment I really enjoyed. But there were so many developers, so I wanted to the HR manager to help me, but he couldn't help me because he was not able to ask questions. He didn't really know about the IT roles, about the IT projects, so he hesitated. And that's when I started noticing this clash between IT directors and recruiters. IT directors, like I used to be, the CTO, and the recruiters who were supposed to help me fill some of those IT vacancies. And also the clash between recruiters and developers. I remember endless discussions with my former colleagues who were sometimes complaining that recruiters are approaching them, but they don't know anything about IT terminology or IT roles, IT positions. They cannot really bring any added value to the table. So that's why the clash. And that was also the trigger point for me to start some of these webinars. And at the IT Recruitment Academy, we have created the IT Recruiter Toolkit. So lots of cool stuff to help some of you guys who may have not been working in IT for so many years. Okay, so that's why it all. So today in this short webinar, I'm going to talk about the 4 mistakes we all should avoid in our daily recruitment activities, especially you if you have not been working in IT for over 10, 15 years, because that's when you start noticing some of these patterns and terminology, and you start recognizing that it's not any rocket science. So the first mistake is not knowing what a programming language or a framework can be used for. And there are so many programming languages, so many frameworks, right? It could be overwhelming. You should know what each language is generally used for. So for example, I've seen recruiters and headhunters make this mistake of sending just generic message, as you can see on this screen. First, probably you also go to LinkedIn, probably you also search based on some keywords, for example, JavaScript developer, and then as soon as a JavaScript developer appears in your feed, you start sending messages to them, like you can see here. We are looking for a senior JavaScript developer to join our team in la la la. Okay, so this is a very generic message, and it's not very appealing to those JavaScript developers because, well, first, JavaScript could be used for multiple purposes. For example, for backend development or front-end development, for mobile app development, for desktop development. So you should know who are you targeting, and based on that, also adjust the message. As you can see here, this is one of our mind maps. You can see that JavaScript could be used for backend or front-end actually development first, then backend. JavaScript also could be used for cross-platform development. Okay, so let's unfold and let's dive a little deeper. So front-end development, we can see some of those popular libraries such as React or jQuery are used on the front end. So if you know that someone is working with React, you know that he is a front-end JavaScript developer. Okay, and then if we unfold the backend development node, we see that on the backend, JavaScript could be used in combination with Node.js. So Node.js it's an environment, it's a framework. At first, it's a runtime environment. That's how it's called officially, but I don't want to overwhelm you with this unnecessary terminology. So first, remember that there are some differences in how JavaScript is used generally by IT professionals. They use it for different purposes, and you can see now how to recognize, based on some of these frameworks, what that particular developer uses the language for. Cross-platform development, you can see desktop or mobile app development, right? You can see it here. Frameworks used on the cross-platform development to build desktop apps is, for example, Electron, or React Native for mobile app development. Okay, so this is really important to know, because as soon as you know that someone is a React Native developer, you immediately know, even in the middle of the night, that that particular developer is building cross-platform mobile apps. So apps that work on iPhone or Android. Okay. Now, say you need to look for a JavaScript developer, you always need to ask the hiring manager the question, who are you really looking for? What type of a developer? Will the developer work on the backend or the front end? Will he work with mobile apps? If so, what mobile apps do you support? iOS or Android or both? Okay, or do you build desktop applications, or all of them are looking for a full stack JavaScript developer, meaning someone who works with both backend and front end at the same time. You can see an example with Martin here. Martin is a JavaScript developer. You can see on the bottom of the page that he was a front-end web developer. He was building front-end responsive cross-platform web applications. But now, recently, he changed, and as you can see in his most recent position, he's just, when I say just, it's not just, it's just there is missing this front-end JavaScript developer. And the reason why is that in the second sentence, he wrote, mostly working with JavaScript, TypeScript, AngularJS, which is used on the front end, web extension APIs, web APIs, Node.js. And Node.js, as you've probably noticed on the previous slide, is used for backend development, right? So you can see that he shifted from just front-end development to full-stack development now. He's working with both backend and front-end. Okay, I hope this is clear, guys. This is just a sample of how you can, based on these frameworks and program languages, recognize what the developer is working on. Keep in mind that today he may be a JavaScript front-end developer, but next year he may be a JavaScript backend developer. Okay, or he may be a full-stack developer, as was the case with the previous guy. So beware, developers change technical stacks. This happens. This is very common in IT. They do change technical stacks frequently. A sample is with Dominic. As you can see, in 2017, he was a JavaScript developer. He worked for 5 months with Dojo framework and Java on the backend. You know, that's the very last position on this list. But most recently, he is an Oracle PL/SQL developer. So Oracle PL/SQL, probably you know, is used to build data warehouse databases. Okay, so large scale data storage, which is completely different in comparison to web development. Okay, it's very different. So seems like he changed the technical stack. And as a headhunter, as a technical recruiter, you need to be aware of these changes. And you cannot just approach a JavaScript developer the same way just because he was a JavaScript developer a year or 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, let's go next. This is one of the mind maps. We have actually a huge booklet with mind maps, and this is just a short and small snippet. Data engineers use languages such as PL/SQL or Python, and they use databases such as Oracle, Postgres, or Informatica. Okay, so PL/SQL, you can see, is related to data engineers, not to web developers, but rather data engineers. What can all these languages be used for, you may wonder, and there are so many of them. As you see on the mind map, this is a very high level mind map with programming languages and related frameworks. There is Ruby, PHP, Perl, Python, Scala, SQL, Java, JavaScript, HTML, Kotlin, right? Like all these languages. Probably you've heard about C# or Objective-C, but you still are not clear what these languages are used for, what are related frameworks, and you can see it all on this mind map. So at some point it may feel a little overwhelming, right? Because it seems like there are so many frameworks, but at the end of the day, it's not that difficult. You just need to learn, for example, in Ruby, there is Ruby on Rails and Sinatra. In PHP, Laravel, Symfony, and I don't know, probably Zend. In JavaScript, React, Angular, Vue.js, Node.js, React Native. Okay, so I know it may seem a little overwhelming now. I'm not going to go through all these details. It's actually really well covered in our IT Recruiter toolkit, which is the e-learning platform with about 300 videos that go a little deeper in all these areas. And obviously, I'm not going to teach you how to code with these languages or frameworks. This is just on the level that is essential for you as a recruiter, HR manager, talent acquisition specialist, headhunter, or IT recruitment consultant, right? This is just an example. What we are now looking at is a sample from the mind map. Probably I have it somewhere. Oh yeah, it's here. I always keep it somewhere behind me. So what we are now looking at on the screen is from the page. I'm not sure if I can find it really quickly, but we have this booklet with all the mind maps, and there is C# development landscape. It's probably this one. Yeah. So you can see on the page number 16, probably some of you already have this booklet, and you can see that C# could be used for web development and mobile app development, desktop app development. And what is important is which framework is used for what purpose. So when you, for example, are looking for a Xamarin developer, you know that Xamarin is used for mobile app development. You can see the second node on the screen, right? Web development, mobile app development, Xamarin. It's written Xamarin, but it's usually pronounced Xamarin. .NET Core is used to build mobile app, web applications, web applications. Okay, and this is all that you need to just memorize to be able to effectively talk to IT professionals, to screen them, source them, match them with your job requirements. Because as soon as you have this knowledge, then nothing can really surprise you. Obviously, there are lots of very minor technologies, but you don't have to know all of them, obviously. So the takeaway here is to make sure that you understand what languages and frameworks are used for. When searching, focus on additional information. Don't just go for the high-level language, JavaScript or PHP. Well, with PHP, it could be easier because PHP is only used to build web applications. Okay, the second mistake is approaching software developers the same way, just based on the technical skill. So for example, JavaScript. So don't approach developers just based on JavaScript. As an example is a freelance developer versus a permanent employee. They both are JavaScript developers. They both use the same technology, but they approach their work in a completely different manner. As an example, this is Andre. He is a JavaScript developer. What you can see on his profile is that he is clear about his engagement type. Like, he is a freelance developer. You can also see that he's promoting himself. There is this second sentence in his first position. Do you want something similar? Do you need to get some development work done? Are you looking for somebody who will build something out of nothing? Hire me. So he's promoting himself as a freelancer. And you can also see that he used to work for a freelancing company. Well, this is just information that you need to know about the company, that they outsource developers. It's not obvious for everyone, but probably in your local area, you are aware of the few companies that outsource software developers. So the way I would approach him is completely different in comparison to someone who is working as a permanent employee, which is, for example, Daniel. Daniel is a software developer. He's a full stack developer, as you can see in his title. And the way I would approach him is totally different, because we can make a few assumptions. For example, freelance developers generally tend to care more about their daily rate, while permanent employees are more concerned about the team, about the product, because they know they will be engaged in the long term with the company. The mistake number 3 is the lack of understanding what's the newest, most popular version of each language or framework. So you should be aware of those newer languages, newer versions of different frameworks, because then you can avoid mistakes such as this one. This is a job description. Someone just wrote in a job description that they are looking for someone who has working experience with AngularJS/React.js. And AngularJS is an official name for the old version of Angular. You know, there is a new version and old version of Angular. So whatever was before the version 2 is considered older, and then there is Angular 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now the most recent version is 10, I guess. So just don't make this mistake of confusing developers with the older versions. Probably the intention was good here. Probably the headhunter didn't know that Angular has been renamed from AngularJS to Angular. But the developer may think that in the company they are still using the very old version of AngularJS, which is never really too helpful. Here I have prepared a short overview of these languages and frameworks and their most recent versions. You can see JavaScript, AngularJS was the old version. Now the newest version is Angular 10. In C# ecosystem, the .NET framework was the name of a framework, but it's been renamed. In fact, a new version was released with a different name, which is called .NET Core. So there was .NET Core 1, .NET Core 2, and now the most recent is .NET Core 3. In Java, at the third bullet point, you can see versions 6, 7, 8. Some of these are considered obsolete, and now the most recent version is Java 15. You don't have to ask developers if they work with Java 12 or 13 or 14 or 15. The most recent versions are not as, well, I don't want to say not as important, but the difference between them is not as significant. However, there is a huge difference between Java 6 and Java 15. Next, Objective-C for iOS and Swift for mobile app development. Objective-C is a programming language, right? In the Apple iOS ecosystem, and Swift is the newer language that was released by Apple to enable software developers to create mobile apps using Swift programming language. Java for Android. So Java is a programming language. Android is the platform. Probably you have an Android phone like me, and Kotlin is the newer programming language. PHP version 5.6 is considered the older one, and PHP 7.4 is one of those newest versions. Okay, so the fourth mistake I would like to highlight is approaching only those developers who already have working experience with a particular framework. That's quite unfortunate mistake, because developers can learn some of those libraries or frameworks relatively easy. You can see an example with Carlo. He is a PHP programmer using MySQL and Zend framework. He uses Symfony, also as you can see on the bottom of the page, but he mostly focuses on Zend. He even wrote on his profile that he's been working with Zend for the last 10 years. However, looking at the map of the programming languages and frameworks, you can see that Zend is not as popular anymore. Like Laravel or Symfony are much popular languages these days. So the way we could approach it is to also look at the popularity on Google Trends. On Google Trends, we can see how popular the term or programming language or framework or whatever on the planet, how popular it was. You can see that this framework, which is Zend, was popular in 2009. It peaked in 2009 and 10 and 11 probably. It was still popular. I remember using it in one of my projects around 2010-11, but then its popularity was decreasing, and it's slowly fading out. On the contrary, there is another framework trending these days, which is Laravel. We are now looking at Laravel framework's popularity on Google, which is indicated by how frequently people are searching for this framework. So now we know that Zend framework is not trending anymore. It's not as popular as it used to be by far. And we know that it's not too difficult to switch from one framework to another within the same programming language. Developers can do it. Some developers like to stick to one, but most developers, from my experience, like experimenting and trying different frameworks and technologies. So the way I would approach this developer is I would send him a message and say like, hey, I've noticed you've been building eShops using Zend in the last several years, and I'm wondering if you'd consider switching to Laravel. Laravel is a framework, the newer and more popular. Developers using Laravel are in high demand these days, and the opportunity I've got here could be a great way for you to upskill. Would you like to learn more about this opportunity? So this is how I would approach the developer. Just keep in mind that in IT, new frameworks come and go. Developers learn them as they need. I remember a few years ago, probably 3-4 years ago, there was a new JavaScript framework almost every week. Developers were really confused. And these days, it's not as bad as it used to be. There are a few really popular frameworks in JavaScript like React, Angular, Node.js, Vue.js. I have prepared a simple pyramid for you guys to be able to visualize how important or how difficult, not important, but how difficult it is to learn some of those libraries, frameworks, programming languages, or overall computer science. So you can see at computer science, software engineering at the bottom of the pyramid. It's fairly difficult to learn anything about software engineering, computer science, the algorithms. It takes about 3 years probably to go through the university studies to learn algorithms, complexity, architecture, organization, computational science, operating systems, how it all works. That's really difficult. And it could take another 3 years to learn software development, best practices, modeling, analysis, design, verification, the quality, security, cybersecurity. That's quite difficult stuff, and it may take 3 + 2 years, so 5 years in total, to go through the university studies. And it takes probably a year to learn a new programming language. So I know that some developers over the course of their career learn 3, 4, 5 or even more programming languages. It's usually one by one. They focus on one language, they spend a year or two working with the language, and then they experiment with another one. And with frameworks, software frameworks, it's even easier. It takes usually 1 month to learn the syntax, the semantics, the best practices in that particular framework. It could be more or less, obviously, depending on the previous experience of the IT professional. And when I'm looking at a library, it takes just a few days, probably a week, to be able to write code in a particular library, or using a particular library, because software programming language is the way they sort of speak with the computer, right? A framework, it's like a template. So IT professionals use some templates, and they call these templates frameworks. And the libraries are just some plugins. So overall, this is the pyramid. At the bottom, software engineering, computer science, it takes probably 5 years to go through the studies. Then programming languages, then software frameworks, and software libraries are easiest. So coming back to the mistake, sometimes I've seen recruiters approaching only those who already have the experience with that particular library. However, a developer can learn a particular library within a few days, so it should not be a showstopper. Obviously, a programming language cannot be learned within a week, but a library can be. Okay? Looking at the map again, we can see that a developer who is probably working with, let's stick to the PHP example. So a developer who is for 5 years working with PHP, only one framework, Zend, well, he can learn Laravel probably within a month or two. Or probably the developer has already been experimenting with Laravel for some small project, or probably the developer experimented with all of the frameworks within the one programming language that we are now looking at. There could be dozens or hundreds frameworks for one particular language, but here I'm highlighting only those most popular ones. This is a screenshot from Stack Overflow's a survey in 2020. They usually organize these surveys among dozens of thousands of software developers to figure out which frameworks and programming languages are most popular. Now we are looking at programming languages, and we can see that JavaScript is by far the most popular language, because HTML and CSS, this is not even a programming language. HTML is a markup language, which means HTML is used to build websites and to identify what element is what kind of an element. Is it a headline? Is it an image, etc.? And SQL, that's again not a programming language, it's a query language. It is used to pull data, query data from database, or to save data in a database. So Python is sort of the second programming language here after JavaScript, and you can see 44% of respondents use it frequently. So from 67 to 44%, and then 40, 33, 31. Okay, so now let's look at frameworks. jQuery it is a library. Again, sometimes it's difficult to say what is a library, what is a framework, but jQuery is a library. React.js, some say or consider it a library, some consider it a framework. So I leave it for interpretation. For you guys, recruiters, just the usage is important, not really what it is. Is it a library or framework? Who cares? For you, it's important to know that React.js is used by JavaScript front-end developers. That's all you need to know to effectively source them and screen them Okay, so that was it. That was the list of those 4 mistakes I wanted to walk you guys through. Not knowing what a program language or a framework could be used for, approaching software developers the same way just based on the technical skill, lack of understanding what's the newest, most popular version of each language or framework. And I went through these really quickly. There are obviously many more. I've been training and consulting for different companies, recruitment agencies. So I've observed what sort of mistakes do they do. And also that's the reason why I'm kicking off the professional IT recruitment training. The class is going to happen in November, on November 10, 11, and 12. So if you like what you see, and I know I went through the content really quickly, but there is no time to waste time, right? So we need to condense and focus only on what is most important for you guys who are also going through job descriptions, analyzing job requirements, figuring out how to talk to hiring managers, what to ask them, how to behave like a professional IT recruiter so you can speak with candidates with confidence. And this is all based on the IT knowledge, but obviously it's not enough, right? You also need to work on your copywriting skills and marketing skills and sales skills to be able to sell the opportunity to those IT candidates. And that's precisely what we are going to talk about also during the class, which will be longer. On November 10, it will be 2.5 hours. November 11, again 2.5 hours. And November 12, another 2.5 hours. So I'll go slower and we will spend more time talking about different concepts, different IT roles. We will look at a job description and how to analyze it, how to derive some meaningful value from it. So if you would like just to see what will happen, you will learn the IT recruitment strategies. So for example, the 4 questions that you should ask to attract your most desired IT candidates. You will also learn what's the key to becoming a partner to CTOs and hiring managers, which very few recruiters unfortunately know about. And I was the CTO. I was waiting for some business partner to come to me, some recruitment consultant who would be able to help me with building my team, who would be able to understand the IT positions and terminology and would not look at me like, oh my God, don't ask me anything. Okay, next, you will learn how to sell your vacancies to candidates so they cannot resist the temptation to submit their CVs. Super important, your sales skills. And during the training, I'll give you a few ideas how I sell those positions I work on. The 6 developer personas every recruiter in IT should know about. I've been working with software developers in the past, so I've started noticing some patterns, and I have noticed that there are a few personas, and it's not too difficult to recognize them as soon as you have some mental model and you know how to approach them. You know what they prefer, you can speak their language and then sell the opportunity to them. You will also learn why sending hundreds of messages or emails to IT professionals only leads to frustration and burnout in the long run, and how I do it, what systems I have in place so I don't burn out and I get candidates who apply to my positions. You will also learn the 7 areas you must include in every job promotion. What are they and how not to skip them, because these are essential. On the other hand, I've seen countless job descriptions that focus on stuff that doesn't matter at all to IT professionals. And last, the key to reaching your candidates where they are already hanging out whenever you want to reach them. This is again important. And very last thing, the simple video script that brings excited IT candidates to your doorstep. I'm creating videos also for IT candidates, and I generally ask just a few questions of the hiring manager, and then I focus on those topics in those videos, so you will also learn this. Next, in the second section, we will focus on essential IT terminology. It's really called essential for a reason. A good IT recruiter cannot survive in the long run without this IT foundation. So what are the must-know acronyms every recruiter and HR specialist, a talent acquisition specialist dealing with IT job requirements needs to know? Second, what's the easiest way to differentiate Java and JavaScript web developers? How to differentiate based on the programming languages or frameworks, who or what the developer is working on. 3, the secret tactic that helps to recognize software frameworks that IT professionals use at work. And for this, I have these great mind maps. So if you are going to join the training, you will also get this booklet with mind maps. You can print them out, you can keep it on your desk like I do. And whenever I'm on a call with a developer, I can just quickly look it up prior to the call, or sometimes even during the call. I just keep it open. That's why there are these circles, so it could be easily opened and left on your table. And next, what's the difference between front-end and back-end programming languages and most popular frameworks? What are the most common IT roles? There are over 50 of them, but I will help you structure them in just a few categories, and we are going to talk about their specifics. And that's not all, because in the day number 3, we are going to focus on talent acquisition in practice. So how to analyze a job requirement, step by step, explained in human language. I have several job requirements ready that we will go through. It will be great fun, and you will see how I, a technical person who's been in IT for 15 years, how I read a job description and extract what is most important. You will learn how to write one compelling sentence in a job ad that will be so intriguing to IT talents that they cannot just refuse checking your job description. I like to spend additional time thinking about this one sentence and how to rephrase it, how to tweak it, what will be the most interesting for the IT candidate. I will also reveal my simple script to introducing myself as a professional IT recruitment consultant, which adds me even more credibility when talking to hiring managers or IT candidates. And how to mention the most important aspects of a job offer in only 3 lines in the social media post. Super important, how to rewrite the very long job description to something that is condensed, concise, and clear, and interesting and exciting, and sparkles some emotion. So this is also what I will talk about in the day number 3. The detailed breakdown of my ideal job advertisement that got me leads in no time and allowed to fill a vacancy in only a few days, which led to a huge commission check, is something I will also tell you in day number 3. So as you can see, this training is packed with lots of great material. If you'd like to join it, you can just go to training.geekrecruiters.com and you will be able to sign up for this class. It's going to be a 3-day class full of interesting, full of exciting information. So yeah, I can only recommend you guys join it because that's how you can become a great talent hunter, headhunter, IT recruitment consultant. If you have this level of IT understanding and can speak to IT candidates with confidence. Okay, so I think I will wrap it up now, unless anyone has questions, but I don't see any questions here in chat. There is a live chat. If you guys would like to ask anything, now could be the best time. Otherwise, I think I will just wrap it up, and I'll leave it up for you to go to the website training.geekrecruiters.com. I'll also probably paste it somewhere here. Where is it? Here. Training.geekrecruiters.com and geekrecruiters.com. and just sign up for the class. It will be great fun. You will receive materials. We have also some bonuses ready for some of you who join before November 3rd. We are going to ship some of our materials, some of the I think a t-shirt is also included, plus the worksheet, plus a certificate. So this is also a certification program included. So it will be great fun. You will learn a lot, and this is certainly not the first time I'm teaching this topic. I've been teaching it a week ago and 2 weeks ago and a month ago, and I started 1.5 years with some of these webinars and training sessions for recruitment teams and recruitment agencies. So you can also just go to Trustpilot and find our ratings and reviews. There are so many recruiters who found webinars and seminars like this useful. And I know that some of you may be wondering, like, hey, what's in it for me? And I can only tell you that IT recruitment and IT market is changing. In the past, I remember it was just enough to paste a job description on a job board, but this is not the case anymore. In the last, say, 2 years, I had to proactively reach out to IT candidates, but they are also overwhelmed with all those messages they receive, right? So you need to somehow stand out in the crowd. And that's also how I approach it myself. Personally, when I'm in the position of a recruiter, I try to figure out how to attract the candidate, how to behave like a professional IT recruiter, like someone who knows about the position, someone who knows about the role and the technology. And this is exactly what I'll talk about during the training that you can sign up for right now. And you may wonder, like, Michael, why do you train others? Well, the reason is that there are so many opportunities in IT. There is an abundance of opportunities. So I'm not afraid of you guys doing a great job, because I know that there are so many companies out there who need so many great recruiters that I'm only hoping I can help 10, 20, 50 of you to level up in November, and another 50 in December, another 50 in January. And there is still an abundance of opportunities for all of us in IT, because IT is growing. The commissions are huge in IT and IT recruitment. So even that's why investing in training like this totally makes sense. I was just recently training here in Slovakia. I was also training one company that is recruiting developers to companies such as Facebook or Amazon or Google. So I can only tell you that the commissions are huge, and investing in your upskill is probably the best thing you can do now when you are most likely locked at home anyway. So during this training, you can also choose among 2 different slots. There is one which is in the afternoon. It's 1 p.m. Central European time, and it is 6 p.m. Central European time. So whatever works better for you, you can join. Probably you are working full time, and you can only join in the evening at 6 p.m. Totally okay. Just sign up for the class, and you will receive a link to that particular slot. Or probably you are an independent recruiter. Probably you are looking for opportunities to transition from non-tech recruitment to IT recruitment. This is gonna be great for you also, and you can also you can also join this session at 1 p.m. Because maybe you have also 2 children like I do. So during this training, my wife will take care of children, so I can deliver the training, even at 1 p.m. or 6 p.m. So as I'm saying, whatever guys works for you, I'm happy to accommodate. I guess I'll organize also another session for some of our recruitment consultants in the United States, because I know that you may need additional time slot. So I guess in December I'll provide one that works probably a little better for you guys in in United States or Canada. But for now, 1 p.m. or 6 p.m. Central European time, you will get materials, you will get handouts, you will get lots of really cool stuff, even shipped. For example, the certificate, a framed certificate. If you complete, obviously we will not send the certificate if you don't pass the exam at the end. At the beginning you could take an exam, and at the end you can also take an exam. So if you would like to get the certificate, if you would like to hang it somewhere behind you at your office and show everyone, hey, I'm the professional IT recruiter, well then I invite you to join the professional IT recruitment workshop, where you study for 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Then you will get access to our e-learning content, where you can study for 7 days. Lots of our e-learning videos. I have been working on those videos for the last 1.5 years. So you will learn about some additional IT terms, the acronyms, and everything you can see in job descriptions. And the job descriptions I have usually just somewhere here behind me, so I'll show you. So we will go through job descriptions such as I don't know, this one. I'll just grab one and you can see a job description of a Python developer. And there are different ones, right? A Python developer, JavaScript developer, Java developer. What we are going to do is to highlight some of those key IT terms, and I'm going to explain what I can extract, what kind of information. So with Python, it could be a Python web developer. It could be data scientist, right? So what additional terms can I make sense of, and then realize who exactly am I looking for. So you can also join this class if you are not a recruiter, but you are a salesperson in IT recruitment, because I know that some of our clients also enroll the business managers, business people, sales managers to join some of my classes, because this is also essential. How can you talk to your clients if you don't know what to ask them? Say a client sends you a job requirement such as this one, and you need to be able to ask good, valuable questions, right? And the question can just be, can the person work full-time or part-time? Do you provide home office, right? That's obvious, but you need to have in mind a few more professional questions in terms of IT. So you can ask, I see here a jQuery, but it seems like you are looking for a data scientist. So why do you mention jQuery here? Is it an essential skill when you're looking for a data scientist? And the hiring manager may say, oh my God, like, no, we just copy pasted it here, and it's not relevant in this job description. It was for another position. Okay, so that's how you can also become probably a little more valuable in your team, because what recruiters don't like in general is unclear requirements. So in your team, you can also invite your sales colleagues, sales managers, account managers, or whatever you call these guys, people who are in touch with the client. They should also join this training. So you can just go to training.geekrecruiters.com, enroll, and then sign up a few of your colleagues to join this training also. So a few of you can go through these topics. This will be a game changer. And I've been doing this training for different teams in different countries. With some countries, I did it online. With some, I just visited on site. So I can only recommend you guys also follow their footsteps, because those companies I've trained last week and 2 weeks ago and last month, they are all leveling up. So if you would also like to level up the recruitment game, if you would like to do a better job in IT recruitment, talk to IT professionals with confidence, well then this training is the right thing for you to join. Okay. So I think I'll wrap it up. If you guys don't have any questions. Oh, Monica has a question. No, it's just hello. Okay, so I'll just respond. Hello, Monica. And unless you guys have any further question, I guess I'll just wrap it up now. I hope that some of you will join the training. It will be great fun. You will learn a lot. You will get the materials. You will get access to the e-learning platform called IT Recruiter Toolkit. And yeah, you will also get the certificate if you pass the exam. So it's a win-win if you really want to get better in IT recruitment. So with that, I'm wrapping it up. No more questions at the end. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon again. Cheers.